This story comes out now from me as a public thing, from talking to people who live near the environmental park, to the north of the city of Northport, Florida, who were very well aware of the Gabby Petito saga. I would tell them my story of how I think that I gave Brian Laundrie a ride at the time when there was a nationwide hunt going on to find out his whereabouts. I told them I had a record of the ride because I was keeping a log of all my rides back then. When I afterwards searched my logs and found the entry for his ride, then it all of a sudden made sense. I then decided that it was really Laundrie who I had given a ride to, rather than to someone else who merely resembled him. The time of the ride fits perfectly well into the timeline of events related to Laundrie and his disappearance from the scene. September 23rd, Brian's parents drove to Orlando to see their lawyer, when they were followed by a caravan of FBI cars. On September 24th, an arrest warrant went out for Brian. On September 25th, I picked Brian up in Port Charlotte and took him to downtown Orlando. At 5:26 a.m. of the 25th, I received a request to pick up someone going by the name of Robert. The address of the pickup point was on Crowder Street, Port Charlotte. A few minutes after the request, I came down that road, it still being rather dark. Before I got to the given address, where there was not a house, just trees and bushes, someone suddenly appeared at the side of the road, right next to my car. His behaviour was extremely odd in that he immediately laid down on the rear seat, never sitting up once during the 2 3/4 of an hour ride, until when he decided to get out of the car in downtown Orlando. Also, he got out before I got to the given address in a way that I am familiar with when someone does not want me to know exactly where they're going. During the ride, he was asleep, and I looked at him and felt like asking him if he was Brian Laundrie. I decided that might not be a good question to ask someone, so I did not say anything to him. Well, he did not ever engage me in a conversation during the ride. He did get into a conversation with someone on the phone who I took as being probably a girlfriend. I remember him telling the person that he was now staying in Orlando. I am showing a picture that is of Laundrie between haircuts, or whatever you would call it that he normally did, to look rather bald. I believe that since before the final events between Brian and Gabby in Wyoming, he had let his hair grow out and kept it that way to obscure his easily identifiable normal look regarding the top of his head. This is, I think, what threw me off at the time, as to being convinced of his identity, that he had hair on his head and the length that his beard had gotten to. For my own thoughts about it, I am now completely convinced that it was actually the person who I suspected he was at the time that I met him,